At the edge of a world covered in mist and snow, a young girl walks alone. She carries no sword and no name. What she carries is more fragile. She carries a promise. Born from death, this young girl should not have continued to exist. Her mother died during the chaos of a Tacet Discord attack on Jinhsi. The child she bore died with her. But time, like memory, can be bent, if only slightly. And Jue, the Sentinel who watches over Jinhsi, heard something in the silence, a heartbeat that hadn't quite stopped. So Jue turned back the clock, just enough for life to return, and in that moment, Jinhsi was reborn, not just as a person, but as a bond, a living tether between a human and Sentinel, between duty and prophecy. Now grown, Jinhsi stands as Jinhsi's magistrate, not because she demanded power, but because the city asked her to carry it. In the city she guards, she continues to put faith in the Sentinel who saved her. But then the fractures deepen, time itself begins to falter. Jue, once mighty and eternal, grows weak, the balance shatters, and Jinhsi must go into the heart of Mount Firmament alone. Here her belief is tested. What was once a bond feels more like a burden, and Jue, once her guardian, now stands before her as a force of fate. The Sentinel reveals the truth. Their link was no accident. Jinhsi's entire life has been leading to this. But even knowing this, she doesn't run. She chooses to awaken fully, painfully yet gloriously. She undergoes the second awakening, a transformation born not of ambition but of necessity. And with it, she doesn't just survive the collapse, she holds back the end for the people of Jinhsi. Hey guys, in the last video we've talked about resonators and what makes them so special. But I left something important out where I didn't mention anything about a resonator's second awakening. So today I want to walk you through what it really means and what is the lore behind it. So in the last video, I mentioned awakening, a process where a person becomes a resonator, gaining powers and connecting with frequencies. Now, what then is a second awakening? This time, it's a rare and perilous transformation experienced by resonators, where they are pushed more to their physical or emotional limits. Unlike your usual awakening process, where it is a significant but manageable transformation, the second awakening is a more tense and unstable process that can lead to severe consequences. It can only happen in very extreme situations, one where the resonator would need to experience overclocking as well. Simply put, think of it as the moment when adrenaline rushes in and unlocks something more even you didn't know about yourself. That's when your second awakening happens. Now, while this sounds to be a great way of becoming more powerful as a resonator, it isn't actually common to happen. You see, a second awakening rarely happens, mainly because it's dangerous and it's not well understood, considered as a taboo subject among many resonators. From the quest in version 1.1, Changli even mentioned that this second awakening or second resonance awakening is just a hypothesis formed by researchers of the Court of Savante, a highly advanced group of scientists and experts. They found out that when two resonating frequencies would mix together, it would end to severe consequences, especially for the weaker resonating frequency. However, the Court of Savante wanted to know more and experimented this by using chronosorters, trying to merge with Jue's frequency, but the devices were quote-unquote turned to dust. Luckily, with a little help from Rover, not the current Rover, but the Rover from years before, happened to help the Court of Savante. This allowed them to think of a way for a successful second awakening. Now, what is the reason behind having to undergo a second awakening? Well, other than gaining more powers, Kuro made sure that this would be explained in the game's story. For example, with Jinhsi, the reason why she needs to have a second awakening is so that she could gain Jue's power of controlling time. But why would she need to have this power? Well, as we saw in the village of Hongchen, a phenomenon called the temporal distortion is starting to spread. Simply, it's an incident where it suddenly freezes time in an area, including the people, the animals, and even the flow of nature itself. So you see, this temporal distortion spreading is a really bad thing, and if left unchecked, could reach even as far as the city of Jinzhou, trapping everyone in time. With this, in order to save the whole of Jinzhou and Hongchen, Jinhsi needs to undergo a second awakening to become strong enough to inherit Jue's temporal mandate, or the power to control time. By the end of the 1.1 quest, Jinhsi was able to survive her encounter with Jue, experiencing overclocking but managed to not suffer its effects, therefore successfully gaining her second awakening and thus saving Jinzhou and Hongchen. For Cantarella's case, as part of the Phasalia family, they have this sort of tradition where they call for young women in the family to partake in a series of trials called the Trials of Old. This is the quest where we do the 4 trials and collect 4 medals. So anyways, through this trial, these women will gain a mysterious elixir that they drink and cause them to experience overclocking. Cantarella was one of these women, and it was here where she experienced her first awakening, gaining a forte, and explains why her Tacet mark is found on her tongue. Now, the Phasalia family do this set of trials in order to locate the person who would be able to resonate with Imperator, whose powers have been stored in this sword called Turbine. Take note, this sword cannot be removed from its place unless that person is the appointed resonator of the Imperator. It's clear that this references Arthurian mythology, and I like that they added it here. Anyways, Cantarella experienced her second awakening years before the story ended. She mentioned that whenever she resonated with Imperator at that time, she saw visions of fleur-de-lis. This is because Cantarella wasn't aware that she was looking through the eyes of both Imperator and Leviathan. So Cantarella made the important choice to reject the role of the appointed resonator and having Imperator's power over space. Cantarella then redirects this power back to Imperator, allowing the Sentinel to be free from Leviathan. Now, as a side note, when I was playing this quest, I was just amazed at how the story revealed this plot twist. I didn't expect that turn of events and really enjoyed the writing. So anyways, to add something more about resonators, remember the Tacet mark I mentioned? I want to add that their rarity in the game's team building, such as being a 4-star or 5-star, is tied to the number of crosses it has on their Tacet marks. So to take Chixia as an example, her Tacet mark only shows 4 crosses, which indicates that she is a 4-star. Another example is with Capybara, who has 5 crosses on his Tacet mark, indicating that he is a 5-star character. Now, there's also a special case for the appointed resonators of Sentinels like Jinhsi and Cartithia. Their Tacet mark shows 6 crosses, indicating that they've reached their full potential through a second awakening. With that said, I was wondering if going through a second awakening causes a resonator to have 1 additional cross symbol on their Tacet mark. Would that be a good lore reason for Kuro to introduce 5-star variants of characters like Yang Yang, Chixia, Yuanwu, Taochi, or even Baizhu? From a business standpoint, that could give Kuro more traction with their revenue if they decide to release a 5-star version for Yang Yang, since it's curious as to why she is the cover image for the game. It's also good from the game's narrative standpoint, since it ties in with the lore and how a second awakening works. Now, anyways, another thing I want to add is that Kuro gave attention to even the tiniest of details when designing the resonators. You see, when a resonator's liberation is low, their Tacet mark will appear to be faint, sort of like a whisper. But as the resonance liberation grows, it expands, just like sound waves at full volume. It's a visual cue, a sign that their forte is ready to be used. Lastly, in the game's story, the Fraxidus, a faction known for their controversial experiments, led by characters such as Frolova, Scar, and Cristoforo, have shown interest in the Second Awakening, possibly seeking to harness its power for their own purposes. Frolova even mentions that by using the Second Awakening, they will be able to tap into powers that could rival the Sentinels. This hints that this Second Awakening is far more important for the story than we ever thought. So anyways, that's all I have for the Second Awakening of Resonators. If you have any more confusion about it, just let me know in the comments. With that, I still want to thank you very much for watching. My name is KlemenTime, be safe and stay tuned.